Desert loneliness seeps into a man, like the dust itself, hot, cutting. That's when you remember there's a town somewhere up ahead, and suddenly you want to go there. You even begin thinking of a town like Sunset. The man didn't matter, Scar did. I shot wide.
I ain't no horse thief, mister. Honest, I ain't.
Well, not a very good one, anyway. Here, let me see that.
No. Well, it's better dying out here on the desert than getting caught. All them rewards and them posters, but they ain't hanging Link Jared. You heard of me, ain't you? Everybody's heard of Link Jared?
Yeah, I heard of you. You're liable to make a very famous corpse. Now, let me look at that.
No. Too bad your shot didn't do it, mister. Must be, 3,000 on my head by now. Not counting yesterday.
It's your time you're wasting.
That stage depot over to Sunset. That man in charge, a real duty stickler. Acted like the company money was his own. He's the one who shot me in the back.
How'd you get way out here without a horse? It's 20 miles to Sunset.
Had a horse. He broke his leg stumbling over a prairie dog hole. You know, it's a rotten shame, mister. Having to shoot a horse.
You're making me cry, Jared. Come on. Give me your arm.
Where are you taking me?
I'm taking you to Sunset. See the doctor.
Sunset? They got a posse on my trail. They'll lynch me for sure. I swore nobody's ever gonna lynch me.
Nobody's gonna lynch you, Jared.
Your word on that?
My word.
All right. You gotta give me your word on one thing more, mister.
What's that?
You gotta believe I ain't no horse thief.
Come on. Get you.
Vent, the last I heard you were in Laramie.
Good to see you, Doc. Give me a hand, will you?
What have you got there?
A patient.
A patient?
Lucky I ran into you. He stopped a couple of bullets. Maybe you could get him out and patch him up.
Who did it?
I found him this way.
Oh, you know Wes Flagler.
I know, Wes.
Eva Grant? The young fellas knew since you were here. He snaps Bronx at the Bar V. Evan Case. Man in the back is Mr. Martin.
Just call me Gopher. I'm new most everywhere, because I just keep traveling all the time.
That's far enough, Flagler.
What call you got being so upshot with me?
I think maybe you know.
Know what?
This man's Link Jarrett. I gave him my word I'd see that he got to a doctor and that he got a fair trial. There's not going to be any necktie party.
It's Link Jarrett, all right. There's no mistaking that face. He's a foul, murdering animal.
What's so funny?
Well, we just come from one lynching, Bonner.
What?
No sense in running a good thing into the ground.
That's right, Vent. We were just on our way back to town.
You mean you weren't looking for Jarrett?
What'd give you that idea? We was looking for Gene Carley. We found him.
What about Carley?
Well, you remember him, don't you? Robbed Jet Hill's general store a couple of years back. Almost killed the old man.
I know, but...
He broke jail last week, went over to Marshalltown. Showed up in Sunset yesterday. Tried to hold up the stage depot. He killed Sam Foster doing it.
And you strung Carley up for that?
Well, not too high. Just a couple of feet off the ground. We found him hiding in a cabin over by Walnut Creek.
Drop a liquor?
Doc, were you a party to this?
I came along to see that everything was done in a reasoned and decent way.
A reasoned and decent way to lynch a man.
There weren't no doubt about his being guilty. That's what you're driving at, mister.
And seeing as how they ain't got no judge over at Sunset, and we'd have had to wait till fall for a formal hanging, we sort of speed things up a mite.
Well, I don't know what I can do for him. He's not worth saving.
But you doctors had some sort of an oath about saving people's lives. Whether they're worth it or not.
Well, if I'm going to do anything for him, you got to build me a fire. I'll need a few other things. I haven't got my bag with me. No substitute for chloroform, but it'll help some. Unbend and rest yourselves, gentlemen. It'll take a little time before he's good and numb.
What a crucifying waste of good whiskey.
You standing guard, Vint?
I'm not playing judge and jury, Doc.
You mean about Carley?
Yeah, about Carley.
I saved his life once, a long time ago. Because I remembered my doctor's oath. He went on robbing and killing.
That how you excuse yourself?
I studied hard so I could use these hands of mine to help people in need. Good people. Not anything like this, or Carley. And
I heard about Foster, suddenly it all festered up inside of me. And I wanted to see Carly dead, hanging and kicking.
You're on your own, Doc.
I'm waiting for the time you dig one last hole, Gopher. For yourself.
Never can tell where you're gonna strike color. Lord cooks in queer pots his wonders to perform. Gold is where you find it. Any old place.
Muley old button.
When you was talking up this necktie party, you give me to think there was a reward out on this Carly fella. Was you speaking the truth?
That's why you're out doing your civic duty, Mr. Martin? For the reward?
When a hill rat like me gets a feeling he's gonna strike it, he's gotta have a stake fast. Well, I got that feeling about a place up Manitoba way. Only I ain't getting no younger. I gotta get there. I gotta get there.
Can't you play something else? Something don't sound like we was at a funeral?
I happen to like what I'm playing.
You know what's eating him? He was building a stack to a Nestor gal, and she went and throwed him over.
Shut up, you hear?
Throwed him over for a sheep herder. A smelly mutton puncher. Bah!
I told you this.
You wanted to show her what a big man she passed up, going on a lynching. But you couldn't even watch it, could you? Made you sick to your stomach.
You enjoyed it, though, didn't you, Flagler?
Huh? I didn't mind none. I'm gut sick of guys like Carly going around taking what they want, getting away with it. You gotta make an example of her before you know it, nothing will be safe. Man's ranch, his family, nothing.
You must have bought a spread. Found a wife and raised a family real recent.
What's that?
I was just remarking.
Well, I don't like your remarks. I wasn't talking about me in particular.
I see.
Fact is, I don't like your whole snuffy tone. You've been running off at the mouth like a prairie preacher ever since we met up.
Hey, Vint. You got Jarrett's gun?
Why?
I need it. Beaver. Keep this barrel in the fire. I've got to go into his back after that bullet. I'll need that to cauterize when I'm through. Who will I send the bill to, Vint?
All right. I robbed a state depot. And I killed a dumb duty stickler. But he had it coming. And I ain't hanging for it. Nobody hangs like Jared. Nobody hangs like...
That true, what he said about killing Sam Foster?
Man doesn't confess to something like that just to hear himself talk.
Then we lynched an innocent man.
Didn't you, Vint?
Yeah, Doc, I knew.
Why didn't you tell us right off?
You'd already lynched one man. If Jared never got back to Sunset alive, nobody'd know about your mistake. I didn't feel it was fair to put you in the way of temptation.
Nobody has to know now. Do they, Doc?
You'll still do your best, won't you?
Well, it couldn't have happened that way. It just couldn't. We was right.
Nobody knows nothing. The Lord cooks in strange pots.
Maybe Jared was making that all up. Everything he told you.
How do you know about the robbery at the depot?
Well, he might have... Well, I don't know. Well, you see what I'm driving at, kid. We can't be wrong.
Can't we?
Look, now we know Carly broke jail. Then somebody said they seen him in Sunset yesterday. Yeah, it was Paul Trimble said it. And then we picked up Carly's trail right at that stage depot, didn't we? And that trail led right to that cabin on Walnut Creek where we found him.
He admit to the robbery and the shooting?
You don't expect a man to admit a thing like that when he knows there's a rope waiting for him, do you? Look, Doc, what...
Vent, you've got to believe I did my best. Only my best wasn't good enough. I will prescribe regimen for the good of my patients, according to my ability and judgment, and never do harm to anyone. I will preserve the purity of my life and my art. I haven't thought of that oath for years. I appreciate your bringing it back to my mind. You must believe me. I tried, Vint.
I believe you, Doc.
Hey, what are we all standing here so long-faced for? Jared's dead. There ain't nobody to say if he killed Sam Foster or not. Nobody.
Nobody except you. Hey, Vint?
That's right. Nobody but me.
Now, wait a minute, Bonner. You're a reasonable man.
I try to be.
Well, maybe we did go off half-cocked. Suppose we did even overstep the mark a little.
That what you call it? Overstepping the mark a little?
All right, we're sorry. But there's nothing we can do about Carly now.
No, not a thing.
Well, we thought we was right. Maybe Carly wasn't guilty, but he was a killer. He deserved what he got.
He wasn't guilty of the murder of Sam Foster.
What difference does that make?
The law should have its say. The law's what keeps us all from turning into animals. You hang one man outside the law, and all the rest of our lives are a little bit cheaper.
I can see you're set on stirring up a hornet's nest, ain't you? Well, you go ahead. You got no proof. It'll be his word against ours. We'll say Carly confessed. Everybody in Sunset will believe us.
But I wouldn't dare bet on that. Vint Bonner's word carries a lot of weight, gentlemen.
Well, you sound like you was turning against us, Doc. Well, I ain't taking no chances of people saying we murdered Carly.
You put that gun away.
Look, I know they don't call you the six-shooter for nothing, Bonner. But there's 5 of us.
Five? You sure?
Yeah, and they're all in the same boat with me. Now, you going east and you ain't showing your face in Sunset again.
I'm taking Jared to Sunset, and I'm going to say what happened.
Well, you heard him, boys. We ain't just going to stand there like he's being milked.
Oh, Flagler, let's handle this thing clean.
What do you mean?
Holding that gun proves how wrong we've been. If we were right, you wouldn't feel the need to use it.
You're turning yellow, Doc. That's what's wrong with you.
We're all yellow. Like Doc says. Afraid to own up clean that we're no better than killers ourselves.
Shut your face, kid.
Only I ain't afraid anymore, neither. Just like Doc. Me? I only know one thing. Ever since this happened, there's been a stink hanging over me, like the smell of a rotten swamp. It's gonna be kind of hard getting used to myself.
What's the matter with you guys anyway? You letting Bonner stare you down? Now, you're forgetting something. I didn't drag you out after Gene Carley. You come on your own. You was all puffed up like good citizens doing your duty.
We listened to you, Flagler, because all of us had some deep down reason for doing what we did. I know what mine was. Something I've been toting since I was born. I had to strike back some way. At somebody.
You better throw your hand in, Flagler.
If I get out of this, I'll be heading for Manitoba, Mr. Flagler. Wouldn't be surprised if that's where I'll be digging my last hole.
Yellow! Yellow, all of you! I guess you think I'm turning rabbity too, don't you, Doc? You think I'm afraid to use this? I could gun Bonner down and you'd all be in it with me. Now, how'd you like that?
Flagler, you were born to be a failure. That's your deep down trouble. There's no reason to believe you'll be a success with that gun.
I'd feel better going in and facing up to this with you, Doc. You coming?
I'm going to stay here and help Bonner with Jared.
Thanks. I think Flagler will help me.
This is the only kind of help you'll get from me.
I'll meet you in Sunset, Vint.
If it hadn't have been for you, folks would have said we done fine. They'd have looked up to me for once.
That might be true.
They'd have been glad to get rid of Carley. Nobody would have known about Jared. Why'd you have to meet up with him anyway? Why?
Because his pony tangled with a prairie dog hoe. He needed another horse.
Well, that ain't no reason.
No, I guess it isn't. Maybe like Gopher said, the Lord cooks.
Summer days when thirsts and tempers run high that I arrived in the town of Harness Junction. I'd come into Harness for the Circle Oak cattle drive. I had a few days layover, which I thought I'd use to look up the Harcourt brothers, sons of an old friend who had died a few years back.
Looks like I found the youngest one, Lex.
I said stop it!
You all right, Jim? All right, get up. I said get up. Go on home. I said get.
Vint Bonner.
Hi, Cash.
When'd you get in town?
I don't know exactly the round, but I was here in time for the knockout.
That kid.
I don't know what I'm going to do with him. Come on in the office. Rest your legs. Sorry you had to see that, Vint. Sorry still I had to do it.
Seems to me you outweigh Lex a few pounds.
I know. I hate to use my hands on that kid.
Then why do you do it?
Look, Ben, it's not as though I don't have good reason to. That kid's got a chip on his shoulder a mile wide.
To match the one on yours? You were a lot like him at his age.
The old man knocked it out of me. I'm going to have to knock it out of Lex. He's got a temper building inside him like a Texas tornado. You down here for the Circle O drive to Durango?
That's right. I'm a few days early, though. They're still out on the trail.
Well, you're going to stay with us till they come in. Of course, there's been a few changes made.
Oh, did you move from the old house?
No, still live in the same old house. Me and Bess both.
Bess? Oh, you got a new horse.
No, I didn't get a new horse. I got married.
You got what?
That's right, I got married. Prettiest girl in town, and a good cook.
Congratulations. I never thought you'd make it. Look, I can't barge in.
Anytime you're in town, you're going to stay with us, just like when the old man was alive.
I'll just get a room at the hotel.
Vin, I'm the law around here. You want to stay out of trouble, you do as I say.
I'll go quietly, Sheriff.
Bessie! How's my wife, huh?
And how's my husband?
Honey, I want you to meet Vint Bonner. You've heard me talk about him.
Nice to know you, ma'am.
He's going to stay with us a few days till the Circle O drive starts.
It'd be a pleasure.
Come on, Vint, I'll show you to your room.
Cash,
Yeah, Bess.
it's all over town about your brawling with Lex.
Honey, that kid was fighting in the street again. I had to do it.
You could have stopped it, peacefully, sensibly. You didn't have to humiliate Lex in front of the whole town.
Come on.
Come in. Oh, hi there, Lex. Come on in.
Hi, Vint.
Where you been keeping yourself, boy?
Oh, just around. Here you're going to Durango with that Circle O outfit.
That's right.
How many men do you think they have?
Oh, 50, maybe 60.
Think they could use an extra hand?
I guess they might.
What's the matter? Don't you think I'd do?
Now, wait a minute, boy. I didn't say that.
You willing to put in a word for me?
Sure. I'll put in a word for you. Did you ask Cash about this?
Oh, I don't have to ask Cash. I don't have to ask Cash about anything.
He's your older brother.
Oh, sure, he's my brother, but he ain't my father, which he's always trying to be.
No, Lex, he isn't your father.
Then it's just no use. I gotta get out of this house.
What's the matter? You got sister-in-law trouble?
No. It's not Bess, she's swell. It's Cash. He treats me like I was a school kid or something. Vint, you just gotta help me, that's all. Look, would you talk to Cash, please? And, well, he likes you very much. He's always talking about you.
Sure. I'll talk to him.
Thanks, man.
was a mighty fine meal.
Best never misses. How about it, Cash? Vince said he'd put in a word for me.
Lex, you don't have the foggiest notion of what one of these cattle drives means. You wouldn't last more than a week.
Well, maybe I would and maybe I wouldn't.
You gotta be tough, like Rawhide. You ask Vin, he knows, he'll tell you.
Look, it ain't gonna do no harm to try.
If you're so anxious for a job, there's plenty of things to do in town. Why don't you go down and see Mr. Fleming?
Well, look, I ain't interested in cleaning out somebody's livery stable.
Your trouble is you're not interested in doing anything you're fit for. Boy, the last couple of years you sure been hard to take.
Well, you ain't exactly been a picnic either.
Oh, hold it, you knotheads. Look, maybe Lex has a point.
Vin, this is between us. Vin, what got into you egging him on with this cattle drive nonsense?
You asked me if the Circle needed men. I said yes.
Well, I know, but you should have told... Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be hanging out the family wash in front of you. Boy, that kid just about has me licked.
Maybe he's not such a kid as you think. You're riding him too hard.
The old man rode me plenty hard. Never hurt me any.
What about Lex? You think it's hurting him?
Nobody's laughing at you, Lex.
Well, you're lying at him, Roby. All of you lying. You're laughing at me. You think I'm just a fool kid.
Now, Lex, we don't think anything of the kind. You go on home before your brother sees you like this.
My brother. Well, I want to tell you something. He doesn't own this town. And he doesn't own me either. And when are you going to get that through your fool heads?
Well, Lex, you're not talking to a bunch of schoolboys. You go on home. And if you're not man enough to hold your liquor, lay off it.
Well, I'll show you who's man enough to hold his liquor.
I meant to wing him.
Get the doctor.
Jim, you better go tell the sheriff.
It was too late, Cash. He was dead when the doc got here.
Cash, I'm sorry. Where are you going?
To get at him, Roby.
I'd sure hate to be in Roby's shoes when they meet up.
Adam, what's going on?
I'll need some food, Polly. Enough for a couple of days, maybe.
Adam, what's happening? I don't understand.
I'm in trouble, Polly. Bad trouble. That fool kid, Lex Harcourt, he drew on me. I shot him.
You shot Lex Harcourt?
I told you he drew on me.
Adam, he isn't...
He's dead. Look, I can't stop to explain. I gotta get moving. You just gotta believe it wasn't my fault.
Well, if it wasn't your fault, why are you running away?
To keep Cash Harcourt from killing me.
But Cash is the sheriff here. He wouldn't do any...
Wouldn't he? Lex was his brother.
Oh, Adam. Adam, I don't want anything to happen to you.
Maybe it won't if I can make it to Standish Falls and turn myself into the marshal.
It's going to be dark soon. You'll have to take the road, and then what'll happen?
Yes, I know I can't risk it tonight. There's that cabin up on Rocky Creek. I could spend the night there and make it to Standish Falls the next day.
Oh, Adam, please. Please, I don't want you to go.
I haven't got much choice, Polly. Not if I want to stay alive. Listen, Vint Bonner's in town. You know the man they call the six-shooter?
Well, can he help us?
I don't know. I've heard men speak well of him. Find him, Polly. Explain that I'd be willing to give myself up to him.
Adam. Vince, this is Adam Roby's wife, Polly. We're old friends. We went to school together.
How do you do, ma'am?
My husband's in trouble, Mr. Bonner. He asked me to come see you. He needs your help.
This is a matter for the law.
Cash Harcourt's the law in Harness Junction. If he gets his hands on my husband, it won't be to put him in jail. It'll be to kill him.
Cash is a good sheriff. I can't think
He's Lex's brother. He'll have to avenge him.
Look, I admit he was mighty upset. But there'll be no gunplay if I judge him right.
You judge him wrong, Mr. Bonner. Please. All Adam asks is a fair trial. He wants to give himself up. To you.
Why me?
So that you can take him to the district marshal at Standish Falls. That's the only way he can keep from shooting it out with Cash.
A sheriff is sworn to uphold the law. I can't believe he wouldn't handle this right.
I can. Then I know Cash. Bess, I don't want to come between you and your husband. You're not, Polly. Outside of me, Lex was the only other person on this earth that Cash cared about. Maybe in the wrong way, but he cared. Now he'll blame himself for what's happened. He'll want to take it out on somebody. There'll be no stopping to listen to reason.
Bess, don't you understand? Even if I wanted to, I have no right to interfere.
Vint, you're his friend. It's Cash's whole life that'll be ruined if he kills an innocent man.
I'm sorry.
Ben, I didn't want to say this out there. But don't you know why Cash will feel he must get even for Lex?
Do you know, Bess?
Yes. Because way down deep inside, he knows he's made a terrible mistake in the way he raised his brother. He's too proud to admit it. And if he did, he'd only have to blame himself for Lex's death. And no man can do that too easily.
Same trouble as the old man. Too tight a rein. Too much spur.
I tried to tell Cash to let up. He just wouldn't listen. You look tired.
Saw a woman leaving the house just now. Who was it?
Polly Roby.
When I got out to their place, they were both gone. Where's her husband?
She didn't say. She's got some fool notion you'll go gunning for him instead of turning him over to the marshal at Standish Falls.
That's not the only reason she came here. What else, Vint?
She asked me to see that he got there. Safely.
I don't want you interfering.
Now, you calm down a minute and listen to me. Something you're going to have to face. Roby shot Lex in self-defense.
He's a liar.
He's got witnesses.
Witnesses, not one of them telling the truth. People like Lloyd Mason, his son, who never even liked Lex.
Cash, you're twisting this out of shape.
When I want your advice, I'll ask for it. Bess, did she say where Adam Roby was hiding?
No.
You're not against me on this.
Cash, she didn't say.
I'll find him tomorrow.
Tomorrow he'll be on his way to Standish Falls.
Hardly. I got 2 deputies watching the road.
Cash! you like, I'll go out with you tomorrow.
That won't be necessary.
Why not?
I don't want anyone interfering with the way I carry out the law.
Cash. I'm not sure you intend to carry out the law.
I think maybe it was a good idea about your staying at the hotel. And you clear your things up by tomorrow.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can I fix you some breakfast?
Cash might pick up Roby's trail. It's best I go.
Vin, if anything goes wrong, well, I mean, Cash mustn't ever find out I told you where Adam is hiding.
Don't worry, Bess. Cash won't find out. And nothing's going wrong.
Wasting your time around here, Sheriff. Adam's gone.
Where is he?
I don't know.
I think you do, Mrs. Roby. You'd better tell me.
Why? So you can find him and gun him down?
I'll find him, Mrs. Roby. Don't you fret about that. I'll find him.
Cash, please. It wasn't Adam's fault. Give him a chance.
I'll give him a chance. Same kind of chance he gave Lex.
Cash, you've no right to hunt him down like that. He's a man. He deserves the protection of the law. You're the sheriff here. When are you going to remember that you're the sheriff?
It's Vint Bonner. Put that gun down.
You alone?
That's right.
You're gonna help me get to Standish Falls?
If that's what you want.
That's what I want.
All right, let's go.
You wouldn't fool me, would you, Bonner?
If you thought I would, you'd use that rifle, wouldn't you?
No, I'm sorry. It's just that I know Cash Harcourt's a friend of yours.
Maybe that's why I'm doing this.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Bonner, for changing your mind about helping Adam.
I haven't done anything yet.
Well, you will. If anybody can get him to Standish Falls, you can.
Let's see. Are you sure Cash Harcourt didn't follow you?
What? I don't think so. Well, I wouldn't have come if I'd known you'd be here.
Let's get going. We'll take the South Fork around Harness Junction.
How do you find us?
You followed your wife.
You know what you're doing, Sheriff?
I told you to stay out of this!
I'm not gonna use my gun, Cash. If you're set on shooting somebody, go ahead.
I don't want you. I want Adam Ruby.
I'll help you take him to Standish Falls. I kind of promised Bess I would.
Bess? What you got to do with it?
She's your wife. She's interested in your welfare. She doesn't want to see you make a mistake.
I ain't taking nothing from you, Bonner. Draw. Go on, draw.
You still the sheriff of Harness Junction?
I said draw!
All right, pull that trigger if you want to. But before you do, there's one thing you ought to know. When Lex pulled the gun on Roby, it was you he meant to kill.
Me? You're local, Bonner. I'm his brother.
He hated you. And he had every right to hate you.
I got him covered, Bonner. I'll put the next one right between his eyes.
Roby, put that gun down. Come down here.
What?
You heard me. Holster that gun.
You're under arrest. I'm taking you to Standish Falls. You're welcome to come along, Vint.
It was one of those nights when the moon was so bright a man had trouble getting to sleep. Besides, I'd had a vague feeling the last hour or so that I wasn't the only one camping in the draw. Scar was acting rather spooky, just to let me know I wasn't overly happy about things. If there was someone there, he was managing to keep out of sight. Well, he could come out or he could stay put. Either way, I'd be ready, and I wasn't going to lose any sleep about it. I could see something now. A shadow. Looking for something, mister? All right, hold it. I'll put a hole in your leg. Get over here by the fire so I can take a look at you. Well, you're just a boy. Aren't you kind of young to be roaming around the country this time of night?
I ain't so young.
14, 15?
I'm only 13.
Oh, you're big for your age. What are you doing here?
Got as much right to be here as anyone else.
You haven't got as much right to be stealing my grub.
I didn't steal any.
That's what you were fixing to do, wasn't it? Of course, if you're hungry, you'd be welcome to some of these beans. That is, if you like beans.
Yes, sir. I mean, I sure like beans.
What's your name?
Rink.
You run away from home, Rink?
What makes you say that?
Well, you're 20 miles from the nearest settlement, and you're not out here just taking yourself a walk.
I ain't going back to Crescent Hill.
Crescent Hill, that your home?
Yes, sir. I ain't going back, that's all.
Eat your beans. Your pa give you a whipping?
Pa wouldn't hurt me. He's the finest man I ever lived.
Sure, all paws are.
Just because you gave me some old beans don't mean you can talk about
All right, calm down, calm down. Old enough to drink coffee?
told you I was 13, didn't I?
That's right, you did. Funny the way I keep forgetting it.
I'm headed for Petersville to find Pa. He said when I was old enough, I could join up with him. Well, I'm old enough now, ain't I?
Well, looks like you are. How come you haven't been with him all along?
He moves around a lot. I've been living with Aunt Aggie and Uncle Ray ever since Ma died. But that ain't the same as being with your own Pa.
No, I guess it isn't.
That's where I'm going to Petersville. Aunt Aggie got a letter from there last Monday. I heard her and Uncle Ray talking. But when they saw me listening, they shut up. They don't tell me nothing about Pa. So I'm going to find out for myself.
Well, since I'm headed for Petersville, too, I can't see any reason why we shouldn't travel together, can you?
No, sir.
And if we're going to be traveling companions, guess we ought to know one another. I'm Vint Bonner.
Vint Bonner?
That's right, son.
Mr. Bonner, if I'd have known who you was, I didn't mean to talk...
Don't worry about it, son.
Mr. Bonner, I wonder what I mean is... I've heard folks talk about that six-shooter of yours ever since I was a kid. Oh.
Sure, as long as you don't fire.
Ain't near as heavy as it looks.
You handle a gun real well.
My pa taught me.
Well, we got a long ride ahead of us. If we're going to get any sleep, we better get to bed. You kicking your sleep, boy?
No, sir.
Good. What's the matter, boy?
Mr. Bonner, I ain't never been in a hotel before.
That's always the first time, Ring. Come on. Morning.
Morning.
You got a room?
Yep.
Room for two, still $50.
Yep.
Oh, here you are. Which room is it?
Number 5 is empty. Is it 6? No, it's 5.
Much obliged.
Is this a tree or a weed, Mr. Bonner?
Well, that's a tree, a genuine palm tree, clear from California.
California? I ain't never seen nothing like that before.
Let's go see our room. What's the matter? Don't you like it?
Like it? It's elegant.
Well, good. Make yourself comfortable. Lie down if you want. I gotta go out for a little while.
Where you go, Mr. Bonner?
I gotta go pay the sheriff a little visit.
Sheriff?
What's the matter?
Nothing. Just don't like sheriffs, that's all.
Well, don't tell me they've been giving you trouble lately.
No. Just don't like him.
Well, I suppose there's good and bad sheriffs like everything else. But if your paw's in Petersville, then Sheriff Jay's most likely to know where to find him. So...
Come on, Jeff, we got everything we want. Let's get out of here.
Help!
Frank, you stay here.
Get back here!
Just take it easy, Brownie. You're going to be all right now. Let's get him inside. Reeves, put him in my office. Now, real easy now, because he's hurt. Charlie, run up and get Doc Perkins down here right away. Tom, get my horse and bring it back over here. I'm going to need 6 of you men for a posse. Get your horses and get back here right away. The rest of you, get off the street. Joe, get over to the bank and see what you can do and stand guard there.
Howdy, Sheriff.
Hello, Vint. Good to see you, as usual.
How's Brownie?
Oh, he's just winged. He'll be all right. We'll talk later.
All right.
Let's go. Sheriff couldn't help it, boy. He had a job to do.
Killing my pa. You call that doing a job?
Rink, you're gonna have to try to understand. Your pa and those men, they were breaking the law. They were robbing a bank.
Nobody would ever let me see him. Why wouldn't they let me see him, Mr. Bonner? He was my father. Why couldn't I ever see him?
You're a man now, Rink. You're gonna have to learn to act like one.
The sheriff killed my father. He shot him out in the street, and that makes him a murderer.
Now, Rink.
A dirty, rotten murderer! It makes him a murderer! A murderer!
Rink, stop it! I'm sorry I had to hit you, Rink.
Why should you be? You're his friend, ain't you? He killed my father, and you're his friend.
Rink. I'm sorry about that Larkin boy. I was just going out looking for him. Just wish it hadn't happened that way. You couldn't help what happened out there any more than I could. What about the rest of the gang that took the bank? Turned dark on us. We lost their trail. We'll pick it up again at daybreak. You, explain things to the boy? I tried. I'm afraid I didn't do very good. He took off a while back. Well, do you know where he went? No. Vint. That Larkin is a confirmed outlaw. Price on his head, notches in his gun. I couldn't help what happened out there. I got a job to do. I know you got a job to do, Sheriff. How do I explain that to his son?
I don't know. Maybe when he gets a little older, he'll understand.
Trouble is, things don't wait for a person to reach the understanding age. They happen. Whether he's ready or not. I had a hunch where I'd find him. It was a hill out at the south end of town where they buried men like Jeff Larkin. Men who lived and died by the gun. You want some supper, Rink?
I'm not hungry.
How about coming back to town with me?
I'm staying here.
You can't stay here all night.
I'll stay here as long as I want. You're on that sheriff's side. You believe he was right to kill my pa.
People don't have sides, Rink. Not in a thing like this.
I do. I'm on my pa's side. I don't care what they say. He was a good man.
Maybe with you, your father was different than with other folks. Maybe with you, he was good.
I'm gonna make it up to him. I'm gonna get even with that sheriff.
Here,
Will you let me alone? Just stop John and let me be.
All right. If you change your mind, I'll be at the hotel. I didn't get much sleep. I kept expecting Rink to come back. Thought he'd change his mind after a couple of hours. But here it was daylight, and there hadn't been a sign of him. Rink!
Hey, Ben. Sheriff Jay.
Oh. Come on in, Sheriff.
Boy's not with you.
No. I haven't seen him since last night out by his father's grave. Why? Something the matter?
Thompson's store was broken into last night. No money stolen. But there's a revolver and some bullets missing.
Oh.
I found some boot prints outside the back window. Not quite man-sized boot prints. They left a real clear trail. Too clear. Almost as if who left it intentional.
You think it was a Larkin kid, huh?
Yep.
Could be.
Tell me something. What's he doing stealing a gun and leaving the trail like that?
Maybe like you said, Sheriff. Maybe it was intentional.
That'd be foolish. Unless... Don't tell me he's got some fool notion about revenging his father.
He did say something about getting even.
Then he wants me to follow it. That way you'll get a chance to kill me, is that it?
That could be about it.
Jeff Larkin ain't the first man I killed, and he's deserved it more than most. But killing him didn't solve nothing. It just turned his boy bad.
What are you going to do about it?
What do you expect me to do? Go out there in the hills and shoot it out with a 13-year-old boy? I got one at home the same age. If that Larkin kid was standing right there in the door covering me, I couldn't shoot him. I just wouldn't be able to shoot.
You'd shoot. Nothing else you could do. Which way'd the trail lead?
Black Canyon.
This the place they call Black Canyon?
Yeah. Don't know why either. The rocks here are the same color as anywhere else.
Names are funny things. I came through a town in Arizona once called Big Lake. Wasn't any water for miles around, not even a creek. It seems like the first settler came through there said what they needed was a big lake. So wouldn't you know, that's what they named it? Let's move on a little further.
Don't move or you're dead. All right, now reach slowly for your guns and throw them on the ground. You first. Now you. That's right. Now take it real easy, Sheriff, and climb out of your saddle. Real easy, Sheriff, so I don't have to use this thing. That's the way to do it, Sheriff. Now you do the same. That's good. Now both of you take a couple of steps away from your horses. Who are you, mister?
Name's Bonner. Vint Bonner.
Vint Bonner. Yeah, you're supposed to be pretty handy with a six-shooter. Too bad you won't get a chance to prove it.
Thought we winged one of you back at the bank.
That's right, you did.
What happened to him?
He's dead, just like Larkin.
How did you know Larkin was dead?
I don't know, I shot him.
You shot him? Have you seen anything of his kid?
Whose kid?
Larkin's kid, boy about 13.
I didn't know he had a kid.
We think he's out gunning for the sheriff here.
Sure takes after his old man, don't he?
How do you mean?
That was Larkin's trouble, that's why I got rid of him. You like the gun too much.
I know what you mean. Not much you can do with them after they get that way, is there?
Ah, what's the difference? He'd have been killed sooner or later anyway. All I did was help it along.
You did that all right.
Me, I'm different. I don't enjoy killing the way Larkin did.
We sure are glad to hear that.
Of course, there are times when a man don't have much choice. Like now, maybe. My friend and I need fresh horses to break out of these hills.
Traeger? I got a posse out scouring these hills.
Only one way I know of getting horses and making sure you boys stay put. So, I guess I don't have much choice. No more than I had with Larkin.
Hello, Mr. Bonner. Sheriff.
Hello, Rink.
You been up there behind that rock all this time?
You seen me there, didn't you, Mr. Bonner? You knew I was behind that rock. That's why you kept him talking about my paw.
I saw something. I was sure hoping it'd be you, Rink.
I'm glad I heard what he said, Mr. Bonner. Otherwise, I would have never known the truth about my paw.
I'll take this.
I'm awful sorry, Mr. Bonner. I'm sorry, Sheriff.
That's all right, son. We're mighty beholden to you. Get down over there where I can keep an eye on.
You handle the gun real good.
My pa taught me. I still can't believe he was that kind of man. He was always so good to me.
Well, maybe someday we'll understand that better. You ready to go home?
You two go on. I'll take care of things here.
Well, there's still a little matter of the hardware store, isn't there, Sheriff?
Well, I can take care of that. Place the boy in your custody.
Rank about this custody business. It's not permanent, you know. Only till I get you back to your Aunt Aggie's. Maybe you'll get along better with her from now on, huh?
Yes, sir.
Ought to start cooling off about 4 o'clock. We only got about 15 more miles to go to Lead Creek. Yeah, I know. Why go to Lead Creek? Well, there's a job on the railroad there. Laying track to Salt Lake. In the boiling sun. Sure, if either one of us had any sense, we'd be lying up under a porch someplace cooling off. But then we get hungry. So I better find work before I get hungry. I bet there's some hospitable people up there who's just dying to give us both a cold drink of water.
Anybody home? Anybody home?
What do you want?
I didn't mean to frighten you, ma'am.
You didn't. State your business, mister.
My name's Bonner, ma'am.
Well?
Well, I saw your place from up the trail, and I thought...
I got no handouts.
See what you mean. All we wanted was a drink of water.
Well, all right. Over there.
Dude.
It's good water.
You and your husband run this place alone?
I've got no husband. Trouble enough as it is.
Kind of lonely country for a single woman.
That's right, mister. That's what I like about it. You had enough water?
I'd like to fill my canteen. I'm heading toward Lead Creek. I suppose you know the place.
I grew up there.
Nice town? Nice people?
They're the scum of the earth.
Scarlet lady back there wouldn't be so bad looking if she weren't so all-fired determined to be. Living out by herself in the middle of nowhere, suspicious and unfriendly. It's a hard thing not to like anybody, unless you first convince yourself that nobody at all likes you. And that isn't an easy job.
Help!
little accident. Water?
Sure.
Horse threw me a couple hours ago. I must have landed on my gun. It went off. You're a stranger, aren't you?
Just passing through. You need a good tight bandage on that.
Did you see my pinto? Half moon on his flank?
Put your arm around me. Put your weight on. My horse will get us to Lead Creek.
Lead Creek? I'll never make it.
It's the closest town.
Cabin. I passed a cabin a mile west. I could ride a mile.
Cabin?
Hey, miss!
Where did you come from?
Sorry to trouble you.
You get thirsty again or something?
I ran into a fella down the road. Been shot up pretty bad.
Shot?
Yeah. It says his horse threw him and his gun went off accidental. Seeing as your place was nearest,
Where is he?
I left him on your front porch.
I'll get some water.
Do you know him?
No. Why should I know him? I don't know anybody.
I was just thinking, since he was in the neighborhood.
I don't know everybody that passes by here. I don't know you, mister.
Doing a nice job. Look, when I get to Lead Creek, I'll send out a doctor.
There isn't any doctor at Lead Creek.
Well, when I get someplace, there is one.
There isn't a doctor within 100 miles of here. I'll look after him myself.
That's very considerate, seeing as he's a stranger.
Help me get to the house, will you? Mr. Bonner. You won't tell folks in town he's here, will you?
Ma'am?
Well, like you said, he's a stranger. He doesn't concern them. And I don't want folks laughing at me in Lead Creek.
Laughing at you?
Well, they'll say Jenny Garver's got herself a man. And if he wasn't unconscious, she never could have done it. Please don't tell them.
Well, I'll not likely be meeting anybody who would ask about him. Good day, ma'am.
What are you looking at?
Those two horses belong to you?
Yes. Yes, they do. Why?
I'm just asking. That pinto looks like a real good animal. What do you call him?
His name's Moon. There's a marking on his flank. It's like a half moon.
I see. Well, I hope your patient doesn't give you too much trouble. I know just how you feel, son. Back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of tiresome, doesn't it? Well, it's only 6 miles to Lead Creek, so it can't be too long now.
You haven't got a chance, Landy. We're all around you. Ned, come on out of there with your hands up.
I'll come out. But I'm not Landy.
Whoever he is. Well, I'll be dad blamed. Looks like we made a little mistake, boys.
I'm glad it was only a little one.
We mistaken you for somebody else. What are you doing out here?
I'm on my way to Lead Creek. Thought I'd get a job on the new railroad there.
I'm Jim York, sheriff around here.
Glad to know you. My name's Bonner, Bint Bonner.
Boys, this is Bint Bonner. This is Sam Norval. Howdy. Tom Jackson. Bonner. Harry Potter. Hey, you could maybe help us out, Bint.
What can I do?
We're looking for Ned Landy. That's who we thought you was at first.
What did he do?
Hold-ups, couple of shooting sprees, just one thing after another for the last few months. Last night, he broke into Harry Potter's store here and killed his brother.
Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry.
I took a posse out after him before, but he always manages to get lost in these hills. We picked up his trail this morning. Even seen him for a minute or two over in the backside of Devil's Canyon. Got off a shot. I thought for sure I'd hit him, but I guess not. Anyway, he's give us the slip again.
What does he look like?
About 30 years old. Dark, wiry, black hair. Rides a Pinto.
Pinto?
Yeah, that... You seen him?
Yes, I think I have.
Where was that?
I left him in the cabin a little ways back. He had a bullet in him. Then he shot himself accidentally when he fell off a horse.
It's him. Only cabin back that way is Jenny Garver's.
That's the name she gave me.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys, let's ride out to Jenny Garver's. Will you ride out with us, Ben?
You won't need my help. He was hurt pretty bad. I doubt if he'll last long enough to get him back to town.
Oh, we'll get him back all right. Old Doc here will fix him up.
Doctor? I understood there weren't any doctors in these parts.
Well, Sam Norval here's a doc. At least that's what he's been telling folk for the last 20 years.
Sheriff, wait. I changed my mind. Think I'll go along with you.
Well, fine, son. Come right along. Landy's hit as bad as you say he is. There ain't no need of whipping the horses. Let's take a little rest, boys. What's so funny, Tom?
I was just thinking about Jenny Garver.
What about Jenny?
Well, she finally got herself a man.
Yeah, but she ain't gonna have him long.
Oh, Ned Landy must have been hit pretty bad not to stampede the first time he got a look at her.
I'll tell you one thing. It'd take more than a bullet to keep me there.
Something wrong with Miss Garver?
Oh, you seen her, didn't you?
Yeah, I saw her.
Well, ain't she just about the homeliest critter you ever did see?
I'll admit she's no raving beauty. Lots of plain women get along just as good as the pretty ones. Sometimes how a woman looks depends on who's looking at her.
Well, you just wait till you get a good look at this one, friend.
Oh, I never thought Jenny's what you'd call downright ugly. I think it's just she was so darn big and awkward. She always was a fine girl, though.
Yeah, I suppose she was. It's a funny thing about Jenny. Even when she was a little girl back in Lead Creek, she was always taller than the boys her age. And stronger, too.
Except at running. The boys could always run faster. Whenever they seen her coming.
It was a strange thing about her folks. Remember, Jim? They never would admit that there was any difference between her and the other girls. They used to dress her up in fancy clothes, with frills and laces. Made her look twice as peculiar as she did already.
Yeah, I remember.
Her father used to take her to parties and square dances. He was always the only one that would ever dance with her.
It was real pitiful. You know, I don't think there was a boy in town ever courted Jenny. Not one.
Oh, now you can't say that, Sheriff. You're forgetting Will Franklin that time.
You know, I I clean forgot about that.
I wouldn't know the joke.
It ain't much of a joke.
Oh, that Will Franklin's quite a cut-up. One time
Let me tell it. You know, there's Will Franklin. He made a bet one time with some of the boys. He bet us that he could take her out just one time and talk to her like he was wanting to get married, and she'd jump at it just like that.
That's the kind Will Franklin was.
It was the funniest thing I ever did see. There they was, sitting in the wagon, and him a-talking so solemn you'd have thought he was... you'd have thought he was courting Lily Langtree. Well, he no more than popped a question when she says, "Oh, yes, Will." Well, what she didn't know was we was all hiding in the back of the wagon underneath a bed of straw. Well, when she said, "Oh, yes, Will," like that, well, we all busted up a laughing and a hollering, and we was carrying on like that.
Seems to me that was right after her folks died, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 5 years ago. She couldn't have been more than 20 at the time.
It was right after that. She packed up everything and moved out here all by herself.
I tell you, it was a dilly when we all popped up behind her in that wagon. I wish you could have been there and seen her face. Oh, like...
Just as glad I wasn't.
All right, let's move on. We've got other pleasant little chores to do.
Oh, okay.
Better leave the horses here. Sheriff, Landy's not liable to give you any trouble.
You never can tell. You may be feeling a little better by now.
Not that much better.
He's seen us.
Guess he wasn't as sick as you thought.
Hold your fire, Tom.
Never be able to hit him from here.
You suppose the Garber girl is all right?
Probably just scared half to death. Well, looks like we're going to have to rush him.
That's going to take some doing.
Here's what we'll do. You and Harry, see if you can get to that fence down yonder. When you hear me fire twice, that'll be the signal for us to close in.
Hold it. Look, if we go plowing up the front of that cabin, it's liable to get real messy around here.
Well, you've been shot at before, ain't you?
Not by preference. I don't exactly make it a hobby.
What do you got in mind?
There's a back door to that house. A couple of trees for cover, too.
Landy'll be watching that back door. He's no fool.
We could give it a try.
All right. I'll go with you.
No, I'd rather go alone. It's easier to hide one than two. Besides, I'm responsible for you coming up here without being more careful. You just give me some fire to cover my approach to that back door.
All right, Vent.
I'm not back in 5 minutes. Do it your way.
5 minutes. That's all the longer we'll wait. Protect yourselves, boys.
Jenny.
You told them. You brought them here.
I had to, Jenny.
You had to. I could have taken him away somewhere. When he was just a little stronger. That's all I want, isn't it? To get rid of him? You could have kept on riding. Never given us another thought. Why couldn't you let us alone?
Jenny, Ned killed a man in town last night.
I don't care. I don't care what he's done. I'm going to stay with him as long as he needs me.
You've kept him here all these months, haven't you? His pony knew right where to come. They're starting to close in on you, Jenny.
You're not going to take him away from me. He's my man, Mr. Bonner, and he needs me and he loves me. No one's ever needed me before. No one's ever loved me before. He doesn't think I'm ugly. He doesn't laugh at me. Do you know, even my mother told me I was going to be an old maid. Well, I won't. We're going to get out of this. And he's going to take me away from here and we're going to get married.
Jenny, listen to me.
I won't listen. I won't let you or anyone else take him away from me. Not if I have to kill you.
Ned can't use your help anymore, Jenny. He's dead. He was dead when I came in the house.
Oh, you're lying to me.
He's dead.
Well, we're sure much obliged to you, Mr. Bonner.
Don't thank me. It was your bullet that did it this afternoon.
Well, I'll be son of a gun. I knew I'd hit him. Remember, Tom? I told you.
Yeah, you sure did. Mr. Bonner here said he was hit bad. What I can't figure is how he was able to hold us off in there.
Oh, them Landys always was pretty tough people, and I guess Ned just took after the rest of them. He just wouldn't give up till the strain of shooting at us probably done him in. That about the way you figured, Mr. Bonner?
That sounds about right.
Well,
I wouldn't go in for a while. Jenny Garver's kind of shaken up by all this.
Oh, yeah, I plumb forgot. She was right there in the middle of everything.
Give her a little time to kind of get herself together.
Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting how women folk are. A little bit of gunfire in the neighborhood, and they just go all to pieces. That just goes to show you. You get right down to it, they're all pretty much alike.
Yeah. Guess you're right, Sheriff.
Are you all right, Jenny?
I will be, Mr. York.
Sure you will, Jenny. All that shooting's bound to get on a woman's nerves.
This ain't no place for a young girl, Jenny, way out here.
That's right. You ought to move back where you'll have some neighbors.
Thank you, Mr. York. But I won't be going alone. Will you help me, Mr. Bonner?
I'll be glad to, Jenny.
I'm taking him back to town with me.
said get off that horse. That's better. Now I'll just relieve you of all that folding money you carry. I said give me the money, mister.
I'd just finished 3 months' work at the Winslow spread. And though the pay was the best in the state, my heels were beginning to itch, so I was on my way to the Copper Springs Bank to get my check cashed and move on. Handsome-sized check, too. $67. Copper Springs was generally one of the quietest towns you ever saw. But the day it looked and sounded like a kettle just before coming to a boil, shaking and humming all over. Couldn't help wondering what all the excitement was about.
Can you believe it, Mac? Sheriff Hempel capturing the Wyoming kid.
The sheriff didn't exactly capture him, Ollie.
Well, then who?
The way I understand it, the posse just sort of stumbled onto the kid.
After coming down the long trail from Fort Drexel, Scar could use a good feed and some water, while I took care of my business at the bank.
He was stretched flat in a grove of sycamore down by 10-Foot Creek. When they brought him by my house in the morning, he had a bullet in his shoulder, and he was still out cold.
Out cold? Bank isn't open yet.
Oh, I see.
Sheriff say who shot him and left him lying there?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. No one seems to know.
9 o'clock. All I can say is that he was in good health yesterday, and he rode out here with $2,500 of my money.
Cash check.
Excuse me, please, sir.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Good morning, Mr. Hawkins. I'm sorry I'm late, but excuse me, please. But Matilda had another one of her fainting spells last night, and I had to wait till Doc McIntyre got out there to look at her.
All right, Jonas, all right. Now get in your cage. Customer's waiting.
Yes, sir, but you know how Matilda is. Once she gets an idea in her head, there's just no arguing with her.
I'd like to cash my check.
The clerk isn't in his office yet.
So I see.
Jonas, you hear about them capturing Jet King?
Jet King?
The fellow who held us up yesterday, the Wyoming kid. His real name is Jet King. Sheriff says he found him down near 10-Foot Creek, all shot up.
Take a mighty big man to stand up to Jet King. And there's up to 10 graves that'll testify to that.
Look, I haven't got all day. If you'll just cash my check, I'll be on my way.
What's your name, mister?
Bonner, Vint Bonner.
You say Vint Bonner?
What's the matter, Mac?
Why, he's a six-shooter, Ollie.
What?
Ain't that right, Mr. Bonner?
I've been called that.
I guess we don't have to do any more wondering who shot the Wyoming kid.
Excuse me, sir, but I have to check my daily ledger.
If I had known you were around here, we wouldn't have had any doubts in the first place.
Well, there ain't no doubt about it, Ollie. Well, take a mighty fast man to outdraw the Wyoming kid. And the six-shooter here's about the fastest man west of the Mississippi.
Hold it. In the first place, I don't know any Wyoming kid. And as for outdrawing him, I never...
Sure, Mr. Bonner. Everybody knows how the six-shooter don't like to take credit for what he does. Well, you ain't going to get away with it here in Copper Springs.
Now, listen to me a minute. I told you I don't...
Wait till I tell the sheriff we know who shot the Wyoming kid.
Sheriff!
Now, about that check...
Where's he going?
We'll be most happy to oblige. Jonas!
Hey, you!
Will you cash the check for the check?
Bonner, come right in, sir. This is a real privilege to meet you. Mac was just in here telling me all about it. He just scooted through that door to spread the news all over town.
Look,
oh, not that I wouldn't have got that Jet King myself sooner or later, but you sure did speed up the operation. Yes, sir. Have a seat, son. Sit right down.
Sheriff, look, I want to talk to you about that.
Oh, now, don't you worry none about the reward. I'll see that you get every penny of it.
Reward? I don't want any reward.
Everybody says you're the generous type, all right.
I'm not that generous. Look, when Jet King comes to, ask him if I shot him.
Oh, Jet, he came to quite a while ago. Old Doc McIntyre's passed him up near as good as new.
Well, fine. Just ask him if I shot him.
Ask him? Well, what do you think I did as soon as Mac told me about it? Jet says you made a lucky draw. He's got to have an alibi.
You mean he says I shot him too?
You're the six-shooter, ain't you? Well, that's the feller he said done it all right.
I think I'd like to have a talk with Jet King.
Well, I reckon we can arrange that. Jet?
Huh?
This here the fellow who shot you?
We going over that again, Sheriff? I told you who'd done it.
Yeah, I know, but Mr. Bonner here, he kind of disagrees with you.
I sure do.
You do, huh?
You were ready enough to pull the trigger last night. Why are you trying to lie your way out of it now?
King, you know I didn't shoot you. Sheriff, I give you my word.
Ah, Mr. Bonner, we all know how you feel about accepting honors, but this time you're not going to be able to get out of it. As a matter of fact, I believe there's a little doings planned for later on this afternoon. After the parade, that is.
Parade?
It won't be nothing much. Just a way for the folks here in Copper Springs to show their appreciation for what you've done.
Sheriff, I want to talk to Jet King. Alone.
All right, Mr. Bonner. I sure don't see what you hope to gain by it.
All right, King. What are you trying to pull?
I hear there's a pretty big reward out for me.
You know I'm not entitled to that reward.
As long as I keep saying you're the fella, you're the one's going to collect it. I'm doing you a favor. Of course, it's just between the two of us now that I see you real close up. Just might have been somebody else.
Must have been a real fast gun.
He wasn't. I mean, I'm fast too. Plenty fast.
No matter how fast you are, there's always someone a little bit faster.
Not too many, Bonner. Maybe you, one or two others, but not too many.
Oh, sure. But you could be getting a little old, slowing down a bit.
Slowing down? I'm just as fast as I ever was. You think I'm going to let folks know that I was outdrawed by a little runt with gray hair? It's just that when a grocery clerk, maybe, he even wore a ready-made suit. It's stiff-collared, the high kind that chokes a man in the tie. Who ever thought a runt like that would know how to use a gun?
Well, suppose we just tell that to the sheriff.
Oh, wait a minute. Tell the sheriff what?
What you just said.
I ain't telling that to nobody else. Nobody. I got no choice. It's one thing to be outshot by Vet Bonner, but that ain't so hard to swallow. But the idea of being outthrown and outshot by a nobody. Why, I will never be able to face my friends again. After I break out of jail, that is.
King, you're talking like a fool.
Yeah. Yes, sir, Mr. Bonner. It sure was a lucky break for me when the sheriff said you were in town. After all, I got my reputation to consider.
You're... Your reputation.
Sheriff! Everything all right, Mr. Bonner?
I'm getting out of here.
Just wasn't any use trying to convince people. They wanted a hero, and I was it, like it or not. Well, there's one thing I could do. I could clear out of town. And then I remembered I still hadn't cashed that check. What was it King had said? Something about a little gray-haired fella? Wearing one of those ready-made suits and the kind of stiff collar that chokes a man half to death?
Oh, yes, sir. Is there anything I can... Why, it's Mr. Bonner.
That's right.
Why, you certainly stir up a lot of talk, Mr. Bonner.
I seem to.
Mr. Hoffman just stepped out for a few minutes. Of course, if there's anything I can do for you.
You're all alone, huh?
Well, things are kind of quiet this time of day.
Wasn't that way when I was here this morning. As a matter of fact, in all the excitement, I forgot to cash my check. I thought maybe you'd do that for me.
Oh, well, oh, of course. Never any trouble with one of Mr. Winslow's checks.
You've been with the bank a long time, huh?
Yes, 23 years now, going on 24.
That's so.
65, 66, 67. There you are, Mr. Bonner. I think that'll do it.
That should do it.
Would there be anything else, Mr. Bonner?
Well, there is one other thing. I was just over to the jail. Had a long talk with Chet King.
You did?
And he told me all about the shooting last night.
Well, must have been very interesting. Well, excuse me, I have to get back to work.
And, he gave me a description of the man who shot him. You know what? That description fits you right down to that white collar you're wearing. Now, isn't that strange?
Oh, yes, it is strange. Very, very strange.
And what's more, you're just about the only man I've seen in town that the description does fit.
I'm afraid that I don't understand you, Mr. Bonner.
Well, I'll just go over and have a talk with the sheriff about it.
No, Mr. Bonner, Mr. Bonner. Mr. Bonner, please. Well, what are you going to talk to the sheriff about?
Oh, I thought I'd talk to him about this. Now, suppose you tell me how you shot Jet King.
Well, I was late. I was late for dinner. I was out at the Widow Tolliver's on business, and I knew that Matilda would probably be a little worried if I didn't show up soon. So... But Widow Tolliver, I just can't drink any more tea. I got to be getting home.
Now, Jonas, I don't see why you're in such a powerful hurry.
But Tolliver, you know Matilda has supper on the table at 4:30 sharp. Here it is nightfall already. Well, she's just as likely as not to have another one of her fainting spells.
Fainting spells? Oh, now, what kind of a way is that to get a man to mind? Why, when my Clarence was late for supper, Lord rest his soul, I just lean over the table and clop him right in the chops.
Oh, well, good night. Good night, Widow Tolliver.
You got a gun on you?
Gun?
You mean you're taking my money to the bank without a gun on you to protect it?
Protect it? But I don't need a gun.
Now, you wait right here. I won't be but a minute.
But Widow Tolliver, I don't need anything. I'm just going to... I'll have you know I've been with the bank 24 years now, and I never lost a single solitary cent.
I wouldn't care if you was with the bank 100 years, Jonas Pilgrim. You just take this. Ooh. That's my money you're carrying.
Well, good night.
Good night, Jonas.
As far as you go, mister. Get off that horse.
What do you think you're doing?
I'll just take that horse you're riding. Get off.
Well, this is absolutely the most outrageous thing.
I said get off that horse.
Yes.
That's better. Since you're carrying that bankroll, I'll take that too.
What?
I want that money, mister.
That's exactly the way it happened, Mr. Bonner. I didn't intend to. I didn't even know who he was. I wasn't here when he held up the bank.
Well, no telling what had happened if you had been.
It all happened so fast. I mean, the way this fella came at me out of the dark, grabbed my horse, pulled his gun. Oh, I just shouldn't have done it. I don't know what got into me.
Now, don't tell me you're sorry you shot a man like Jet King.
Mr. Bonner, Well, fact is, I'm a married man.
What's that got to do with it?
Matilda, that's my wife. Well, Matilda's kind of particular about things. She's terrible particular about me, for instance. That's why I gotta wear this doggone collar.
Well, I'm sorry, Jonas. I still don't see...
But, Mr. Bonner, don't you see, if Matilda thought I even so much as touched a gun, why... I don't think she'd ever let me out of her sight again.
Well, it looks to me like you take care of yourself pretty good.
Well, as a matter of fact, I have had some experience with a gun. I don't know. I guess it was just some old instincts coming out in me. First thing I knew, there he was, lying there in the dirt.
You mean you used to be a gunfighter?
When I come out west, a fella had to be able to shoot his way out of a spot or two if he wanted to stay alive. For instance, once when I was... Well, I guess it don't look much like it now, do I?
Well, Jonas, every man's bound to do a certain amount of aging.
Yeah? Sometimes I think I've done a little more than my share. Anyhow, now you know why I don't want folks to know about what happened last night.
Well, that's all very well, but, Jonas, I can't take credit for something that you did.
But, Mr. Bonner...
Mr. Bonner, Jet King just broke out of jail.
Yeah, he must have had a friend or somebody help him.
Sheriff is getting a posse together. Wants you to join it.
Look here now.
Sheriff figures they are heading toward Bedwater Falls.
I'm sorry, I won't be able to oblige.
Well, why not? You already captured Jet King once.
Let's just say that once was enough. Which way is Badwater Falls?
South! Due south!
I'm going north. Due north.
Inside of 5 minutes, the whole male population of Copper Springs had galloped out of the other end of the town, headed south. I guess that made Jonas Pilgrim and me the only two men in town who hadn't run off with a posse. Not that I was especially glad that King had broken jail, but they were bound to catch up with the Wyoming kids sooner or later. From the looks of it, seemed like the man who ran the stable had run off with the others, but I'd already paid for Scar's keep, so...
Don't move. Now, you just keep holding on to that saddle, Mr. Bonner. Get to the door, keep your eyes peeled. One more move and I'll blow your head off.
You're not going to get away with this, King.
Nobody to stop me except you.
That shoulder will slow you down some.
Don't worry about me, Bonner. I'll make out. I'm taking your horse.
There are other horses.
Not as good as yours.
Some days it just doesn't pay to get out of bed.
reputation.
Between the bump on King's skull and the crease in his friends, I thought maybe I could get out of town before the hullabaloo started all over again, but I had to move fast.
Oh, Mr. Pilgrim.
Oh.
You through for the day at the bank?
Oh, yes, we close at 4 o'clock sharp. I'm on my way home now.
I wonder if you'd mind doing me a little favor. Put off your supper for a while. Till the posse gets back, that is.
Well, what for, Mr. Bonner?
Well, you see, the sheriff left with the posse, and there's no one watching the jail.
I don't see what difference it makes. Jet King was the only prisoner, and he's escaped.
Well, now, you never can tell, Mr. Pilgrim. Suppose someone was to break in. They could do a lot of damage. You can't tell what important papers the sheriff might have in his files over there.
Oh. Well, it seems to me the sheriff should have locked up before he left. Oh, no, I'd never leave the bank like this, not if my life depended on it. Now, you know that, Mr. Bonner, don't you?
I certainly do. I certainly do, but the way I figure it, you're more conscious of your responsibilities than most people.
Well, if a man's got a job to do, it's his plain duty to perform it as well as he knows how.
Then you won't mind holding the fort till the sheriff shows up. You know, I just wouldn't feel right running off with no one minding the jail.
Well, no, Mr. Bonner,
A civic-minded citizen just like yourself.
It seems to me you're worrying unnecessarily.
You'll never know how much I appreciate this. You just sit there a little while until somebody shows up.
Hope it won't be more than a little while. Matilda's
You better hold on to this, too. Never can tell when you might need it. Old gunfighter like you. And these. Now, just make yourself comfortable.
Oh, Mr. Bonner.
Yeah?
I hope you're not put out by my letting folks think it was you who shot Jet King last night.
I think that's taken care of.
You know, sometimes it's best for a man to take responsibility for a thing, even if he didn't do it himself.
You know what? You've got a point. I'll be seeing you.
Sure was nice riding out of Copper Springs with $67 in my pocket. Though I would have given a good part of it to have seen the expression on the sheriff's face when he...
Seen this with my own eyes. I swear I wouldn't believe it.
Kind of tickled me that Jet King's reputation would never be the same. Though I admit I was a little worried about how Matilda would react to Jonas's newfound talent. But then wasn't it Jonas who said that sometimes it's best for a man to take the responsibility for a thing, even if he didn't do it?
Come April, there's one trip I make just about as regular as the spring thaw. That's a trip down to Lonesome Valley. That's where Millie Gilman and her boy Jody run the Crossroads store. Tom Gilman's wife and son. Tom and I grew up together. We came west together, too. Tom was doing well until he caught the Baker brothers cutting out some of his cattle and stopped them with a shotgun. They stopped him with a .44. So now it was time to drop by Millie's place again just to see that she and Jody were all right. Maybe lend them a hand.
Hello there, Millie. Good to see you.
Same to you, Vince. I was afraid we weren't going to see you this year.
Well, I'm a little late, but I made it. Hey, where's Jody?
Well, he's in town. He should be back shortly.
Jody, you know better to treat a horse like that. Your pa taught you better, so did I.
I'm sorry, Van. I wouldn't have pushed Red like that if I didn't have to. I had to make tracks. I just killed a man.
You what?
Killed him. I mean, I didn't mean to. I wasn't mad or anything.
Who did you kill?
Shorty Burnett.
Jake Burnett's boy? Why didn't you pick on one of the James boys?
Ben, I wasn't aiming to. I just kidding him about a girl, and he took it personal like. So we went behind Morgan's barn, and first thing I knew, he drew on me.
That explains everything.
I don't know how it happened. He's so fast. He drew, and I drew, and I beat him.
I see.
Shorty, he's faster than a lot of men, but I outdrew him. He went for his gun, I went for mine like this.
You young fool. Don't you know you can't settle anything with a gun?
I ain't a kid no more. You got no right to tell me what to do. I killed my man.
Jody!
You certainly did.
Jody, what did you do? Do you know what you're doing, Jody?
I just know I've got to get old man Burnett, and his back will be after me.
Running won't do any good. They'll keep after you till they run you down.
Yeah, well, not if I run fast enough. Not if I cover my trail.
Jody. Jody, baby.
Mama, will you stop babying me? I'm grown up. I'm fast with a gun. I can hold my own with anybody.
What went wrong, Jody? How could you do it?
What you want me to do? For Pete's sake, you want me to just stand there and let him kill me? Well, I'll send word to you when I get where I'm going.
Oh, Jody, Jody, where are you going?
Better take Jupe here. You're about pushed Red to death. I don't like to give you this, but I suppose you'll be needing it. I hope you know what you're doing to your mother every moment you're out there.
I don't need no preaching. I can take care of myself.
Listen, boy, I've been there. You'll never ride anywhere without looking over your shoulder. You won't walk into a saloon, a store, even a church without wondering if they're waiting for you. In the daytime, there's no place to hide, and at night you'll be afraid. Once you start running, Jody, you're one of the damned.
I told you I don't need no preaching.
Jody, you surprised me. I wasn't expecting you.
You see her? Will you come away with me?
hurting me right this minute. Where do you want to go?
I mean it.
Jody, you're serious.
I've never been more serious.
I can't just run off like that. If my pa even caught me out here with you, he'd whip me for sure. You don't know what you're asking, Jody.
Maybe I can make you want to go with me.
No!
Well, go on to your pa. I don't need nobody. Porfirio! Migo! Me, Jody Gilman! ¿Está en casa, Porfirio? Porfirio? Hey, it's me. Hey, Jody Gilman.
Jody, muchacho. Why do you wait so long to come visit Porfirio? Go inside, hijo. I'll take care of the horse. Some more mezcal, Jody. It keeps a man warm.
I can't stay here, Porfirio.
It's trouble?
Yeah, I killed a man.
You kill him in hatred?
No.
Then you have nothing to be afraid of.
Nothing except his old man, his brother, will be after me. I don't want you to have any trouble because of me.
Jodito, you came to me when you were no taller than that. When the bees found you, when you found their honey. You remember?
I remember the bees, but I forgot the honey.
If Porfirio could help you then, he can help you now. You stay here tonight, and tomorrow we will see.
You could have helped him.
Billy, Jody's facing a man's problem. He'll have to face them all the rest of his life. Maybe I could take care of this one, but who'd take care of the next?
First Tom, now Jody. All because of guns. I hate guns.
Where is he? That sidewinder who killed my boy.
Right out of here, Burnett. I'm sorry about your boy, but it was a fair fight.
I'll show him a fair fight.
Shut up, Ike. Listen here, Bonner. That boy of mine was faster than most men in the territory. If Jody killed him, he backshot him.
If you believe that, go see the marshal. Let him settle it.
Yeah. No Burnett goes crying to any marshal. I'm asking you again. Where's the boy?
Let me find out, Paul. I'll get it out of him.
Don't be a fool. He'd just soon gun you down as look at you.
Now listen to me, Burnett. both of you. That boy of yours was a bully, and he finally got what he was asking for. You've come here looking for a killing. If you don't ride out of here, there's going to be some. I can't put it much plainer than that.
He murdered my son, Bonner. I'm going to get him for that.
Go on home, Lucianne.
If they find him, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him, Mr. Bonner. And I love him.
He's my baby. He's all I have.
Well, I better be going. I've stayed too long already.
Jody, do not forget. See my brother Benito in Hermosillo. You promise this?
I'll see him, Porfirio.
Tell him what I told you. He will help.
Thanks again.
Vaya con Dios, amigo.
Where's the boy? You might as well tell us you've heard it. We'll find out anyways.
I have no boy.
Ike, build a fire outside. You won't only talk, old man. You'll yell. Get up.
About ready, Paul.
I'm going to ask you once again. Where'd the boy go?
Run, Johnny!
Ferriel. There. Leave it to me.
Run, Johnny! Run, Johnny! Run, Johnny! Run, Johnny! Run, Johnny! Run! Run, Johnny! Run, Johnny!
Come on out, or the old man is dead.
Burnett, I'll make you a deal. You let Porfirio go and I'll come out.
No, Johnny! Do not do it! Run! Run!
Throw that gun out where we can see it, boy.
You let Porfirio go first.
Throw that gun out first. You'd like that, wouldn't you? If I shot you, the kid could take off.
Hey, Burnett, you let him go! I'm coming down.
Good. Throw your gun out first.
How'd I know you let him go if I do?
That's the chance you have to take, boy. And you better hurry. See, boy? You can trust me. I'm a man of my word. Come on over here, Jody. Don't be so bashful.
Want me to tie him up, Pa?
No need to. Can you outrun a bullet, son? You try to run, I'll bust a leg for you.
Jody!
Ike?
Yeah, Pa?
You ever beat anybody to death?
Never did.
How long do you think it'll take you?
Not long, Pa.
Take your time. Take your time. We got all day. Come on, boy. As long as you're breathing, you're still alive. When you can't get up no more, Ike will use his boots on you. Wake him up.
Are you able to hold it? Kill him if he moves.
Gracias, señor. I will do it.
All right, big man. I'm a little more your size. You're a mess. You don't look so good yourself.
You had a drop on him. What'd you fight him?
I figured it's about time you learned that a gun wasn't the only way to settle an argument.
I wanted Jolly to run, but he didn't. He's much man. I am proud of him.
I'm proud of him, too. Your mother and Luciana waiting. Yeah.
When Andy Dunn sent me down to Minton to look at some cattle, it was the first time I'd been in the southern part of the state since the Indian uprisings. It's a beautiful country down that way, but mighty empty and mighty lonely. Along about noon, I was beginning to figure I'd got myself lost. The sign said Minton, all right, but it didn't show which way. I looked over, and Scar was headed southeast, so that's the way we went. Maybe Scar'd smelled water because we hadn't gone more than a mile when we saw a house. An old ranch house, just about 1,000,000 miles from nowhere.
Hello? Anybody home? Mind if we have some water? All right, if you're so stingy with your water. I'll leave if you'll show yourself.
You can leave right now, mister.
Well, now, just a minute, ma'am.
I mean it. Strangers are not welcome here.
I kind of got that idea. I don't mean you any harm, ma'am.
What are you doing here?
I'm on my way to Minton.
You came the wrong way.
I know, but the sign was down at the fork a ways back. It'd be closer for me to go ahead than to turn back, wouldn't it?
Mister, I don't care which way you go, just so you go.
I'll go. I'd feel a lot safer if you'd put that gun down. You don't have any cause to shoot me, ma'am. I'm on my way to Minton to buy cattle. My name's Bonner, Vint Bonner.
Vint Bonner? Were you ever in the Army?
Yes, ma'am. I served as a scout with the cavalry, but that was some time ago.
I think I've heard my husband speak of you. I'm Hannah Guilford.
General Guilford's wife? I knew the general. I was with him at Fort Clark just before...
I realize I've been rude, but I need someone to help me.
I'll do what I can.
Then I wonder if you could stay here for a while. Oh, I won't keep you long. Just have a meal with us and talk. It would do the general so much good.
Oh, ma'am, the general was killed.
I know he would be pleased to see an old friend. You can't imagine what it's like to be alone all the time.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I just don't understand. I thought...
You thought the general was dead. I know. That's what everyone thinks. But it isn't true.
But the Fort Clark massacre...
General Guilford was not killed at the Fort Clark massacre.
The Cheyennes slaughtered the garrison down to the last man.
They did not kill my husband. Don't you think I ought to know?
I'm sorry, ma'am. It just doesn't seem possible.
I thought you'd understand. But you're just like all the others.
I'm sorry.
Just go away, Mr. Bonner. Water your horse and go.
When I got to Minton, I knew I had to locate Joe Kennedy, the cattle dealer. But first, there was a little more I wanted to know about Hannah Guilford. So I stopped at the place that can generally answer my questions about a town.
Yes, I know how you feel, Mr. Bonner. It's mighty sad about Hannah Guilford. Mighty sad.
I sat through that army hearing myself, all of it. Not one man got out of the fort alive.
Well, everyone in Minton knows that. Everyone except the general's widow.
Well, can't anyone make her understand?
Yeah, people have tried. I've tried. Yeah, she just flies off the handle, just like she did with you. Bob Price there works for Joe Kennedy.
Took a shot at you, did you, mister? Guess old Hannah's back on the firing range again.
Well, I don't think it's that funny, friend.
Well, we were warned to steer clear of Widow Guilford. Reckon you should do the same. You looking for Kennedy?
Yeah. Know where I can find him?
Keeping out of Hannah's range.
Kill it.
Yes. Town has to have someone to laugh at. Hannah Guilford is a good target. I guess I'm about the only person she sees now. I go out there every month or so and take a load of provisions. I said to her, I said, look, Hannah, if the general is alive, let me speak to him. Show me. Yeah, and she'd try. Poor woman would take me into the house. There wasn't another living soul within miles of that place. Not a single living soul.
Best thing for me to do is to get my mind on something else. See about the cattle I'd come for.
This Bonner's the latest one that's happened to. In 5 minutes, Hannah took 2 shots at him, asked him into the house for dinner, and then slammed the door in his face. I think I've got a right to know, Sheriff, just what you're going to do about her.
I got no grounds to do anything, Kennedy. You know that.
When she starts shooting at people, it's time to clear her out of there.
Hi, Bert.
Bonner, good to see you, Vint. What brings you to Minton?
Cattle. I'm looking for a man named Joe Kennedy.
You found him.
I'm Kennedy.
Oh.
Glad to know you, Mr. Bonner.
Glad to know you, Mr. Kennedy.
Everyone's heard of the 6-shooter. How many head are you in the market for?
Well, first, I'd like to see what you've got.
Oh, not too many and not too fat. Grazing land's been pretty dry. But why not come out to the ranch in the morning and have a look?
Thanks, I'll do that. Did I hear mention of a little problem when I came in?
Afraid you stirred up a hornet's nest, Vint, stumbling onto the Widow Guilford the way you did.
I hope I wasn't the means of causing her any trouble.
Nobody wants to cause her any trouble, Mr. Bonner. But if she's starting to get violent...
More than likely, I frightened her coming up on us suddenly like that.
I've got some grazing land next to that ranch of hers. My boys have to work out there. I wouldn't want any of them getting shot.
Sure you don't want me to run her out, Kennedy, so you can take over her ranch? It would fit in pretty well with that spread of yours.
Oh, I don't deny that I could use it. In fact, I offered her $6,000 for it. A run-down place like that. If she wouldn't take that kind of money, she's got to be out of her head. Now take what she did to you.
She didn't cause me any harm, Mr. Kennedy.
Hannah Guilford may be hard to understand at times, but she's the widow of a mighty fine man. The general died defending his territory. If it hadn't have been for men like him, the Cheyennes would have burnt this town to the ground long ago.
That may well be. But his widow's still a dangerous woman. I'll see you in the morning, Mr. Bonner.
Right. Looks like everybody in town's got pretty strong opinions about Hannah Guilford. One way or the other. I didn't know exactly what I thought I could do. But before seeing Joe Kennedy in the morning, I wanted to have a talk with General Guilford's widow. I figured she'd heard me ride up. When I reached the porch, I heard something that made my flesh crawl.
William, if you'll sit quietly, I'll read to you. I don't want to argue anymore. You must try to understand. I thought Mr. Bonner would be a welcome guest. I meant you no harm, Will. I'll read to you from the book of Proverbs. Who's there? Answer me. Who is it?
I'm sorry.
Oh, Mr. Bonner. What are you doing here? I don't like people prying.
I just came to pay you a little visit. I know how it is to be lonely.
Well, that's very kind of you, but...
May I come in?
Very well, if you like. It's plain, but it's my home.
I see.
I'm afraid you got a poor impression of me today. But there's no reason to worry, really.
I heard you talking to someone when I came up.
Talking to someone? Oh, no.
I was sure.
You heard me reading. I often sit by myself and read in the evenings.
I see.
I get very lonely to hear a human voice. So I sit here and read.
At the table?
Yes. By the light. Don't you believe me?
Yes, ma'am. I believe you read by the table.
You see, there's nothing to worry about. I'm perfectly all right.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night, Mr. Bonner.
By 11 next morning, I'd pretty much finished my business with Kennedy. Like he said, his cattle weren't much to look at. And there weren't but a few I liked well enough to buy.
How do they look to you?
I can use about 50 head.
50?
That's about it. Andy and his men will be along in a few days to drive them north.
All right. But it's hardly worth the trouble.
What's this? Looks a little like a posse.
Maybe that's just what it is.
Who are you after?
General Guilford's widow.
Don't you think that...
Now look, Bonner, this don't concern you. You don't have to work out there. My men do. You can forget about it when she threatened you with a gun. We don't intend to.
I was out there last night. She seemed fine.
We've had 5 years of it. Time we put a stop to it.
Don't you think that's a job for the sheriff?
Bert Jessup won't raise a finger. It's up to us.
And Hannah Guilford.
We're not going to hurt her. All we intend to do is to send her somewhere where she'll be cared for and not bother anybody.
Where's that?
The state home up at Capital City. And nobody's going to stop us.
I never did believe in ghosts, and I wasn't about to begin. Please don't, General.
You're Brent Bonner, aren't you? Why couldn't it have been someone else?
Why did it have to be you?
I don't know what you're trying to do, but I came here to warn your wife.
Warn Hannah?
Yes, there's trouble coming. I thought she ought to know.
Well, there was no... Mr. Bonner, why can't you leave us alone?
I don't mean to bother you, ma'am.
It's all right, Hannah.
It was bound to happen sooner or later. Well, it's for the best. Don't you see that?
I don't know.
What are you going to do with us?
I want to help you. There's some men coming from town to
do what?
To send you away. Seems you've got the whole town of Mitten thinking you're a dangerous and violent woman.
Send me away?
To the state home. I don't know what you and the general hope to accomplish by all this, but whatever it is, your time's running out.
Will, you'll have to help me. Well, please, it's time to face the truth.
Face the truth. How do you do that? How do you go for years hiding something inside yourself, and then one afternoon let it all come out into the sunlight? How do you do that?
Are you sure you have something to hide, General?
Am I sure? I've had time to make certain, wouldn't you say? I thought in time people would forget.
I tried and tried to make him see. A man can't bury himself, wish himself dead.
I know, Hannah. I know you did all you could. This is your reward. They think you're a dangerous woman.
What else could they think? But I was willing to let them think anything. If you wanted it that way, Will. I wasn't looking for any reward.
I know, my dear. I've made you pay a terrible price for loyalty.
Not just for loyalty.
I know you wondered my reasons for all this.
Yes, sir. I do.
Did you ever do something that suddenly made you realize you weren't fit to live any longer? How would it sit with you to know that I was nowhere near Fort Clark when it was attacked? I'd been sick for weeks. The time came when I couldn't stand it any longer. The medical corpsman at the fort couldn't help me. I thought it would be safe to chance a trip to a doctor. Safe. Half the Cheyenne tribe just over the hills, and I thought it would be safe.
But you didn't know.
I should have known. I knew the Indians wanted that fort. A good commander would have known where and when they would attack. They saw me go. When I left the fort, there were 3 of them on a hill over the trail. Those 3 Indians were Cheyenne scouts. They saw the commanding general leave the fort. 3 hours later, they attacked.
General, that's not the reason.
When I learned, I went back and I saw every single man killed. Everyone burned, mutilated.
William, please.
And the finest part of my triumph, when I tried to report, they were saying I was a hero. I had made the great sacrifice. The gallant commander died at the head of his garrison. I couldn't face anyone after that. I came back here to die. I've been dead ever since.
riding toward the house.
Mrs. Guilford!
I'm afraid they mean business.
I'll talk to them. What do you want?
Thought we'd like to have a little talk with you, Hannah.
What about?
You know me, don't you? Joe Kennedy?
Of course I know you. But I'm busy now.
Hannah, we came all the way out here just to see you. You know we're only interested in your welfare.
Well, that's very kind of you, but...
I'm not going to hurt you. Not a bit. Now, Hannah, I want you to hear me out carefully. Now, all we're thinking about is what's best for you. You know that, don't you?
Well, yes.
Sure you do. The point is, Hannah, it's not good for you to live this way.
I'm perfectly happy.
But it isn't right. You've got to be where people can care for you, where you won't be alone.
I'm not alone.
Do you know what they're doing to your wife out there?
Hannah's very loyal.
Loyal? What kind of a price does she have to pay for her loyalty? You not only buried yourself, you buried your wife with you. Now you go out there to her. Stand up.
You know that's not true. That's what you've got to understand, Hannah.
Let go.
The general's not here. He was killed in that massacre.
Let go my arm, Mr. Kennedy.
Bob!
Will!
No
Will, come and help me!
We're going to take
Will, come show him!
Can't help you. He's dead.
He's not dead. Let me go. Will! Will you
Settle down, Hannah.
help me? Will! William! William!
Settle down, Hannah.
Help me!
Nobody's going to
Gentlemen.
Leave my wife alone. There's no reason for my wife to be tormented, gentlemen. Not any longer.
Put it away, Price. You won't have an easy time of it for a while, sir, but there's one thing you've got to remember. No one blames you.
I know better, Vint.
I'm telling you the truth. The Army held an investigation of the Fort Clark massacre 3, maybe 4 years ago.
Did you see the testimony?
I was there. I heard it. That's why I know you were cleared. Even if you hadn't left the fort, the Indians would have destroyed it. They came in from the north in greater numbers than ever before. The court agreed it was only because of the defenses that you erected that it held out as long as it did. Otherwise, the Indians would surely have gone on to burn Minton.
You see, William, you did save the town.
In the eyes of everyone concerned, you're a hero, alive or dead.
Thank you, Mr. Bonner.
I'll be going along.
Can't you stay with us for a while?
You'll have plenty of company. Both of you. The storekeeper was right. A town has to have someone to laugh at. But it needs someone to admire, too. And once they got to know each other, Minton would be looking up. October and turning cool already. And I was headed for Yucaipa in the Red Rock country. I'd planned to pick up a few wild ponies. Also, I'd have a chance to visit my old friend, Doc Cross.
A howling dog started it all.
Anybody home?
Oh, you're a nice fella. Yeah, you're a nice boy.
Anybody home?
Oh, hold it, old fella. You got the wrong fella.
Maybe I have. Sorry. Something about the bushwhack makes me kind of cranky.
How did this happen to you?
I was gored by a butterfly.
Come on, I'll give you a hand. Take it easy.
Hey, Doc, they racked up another one of your committee.
Bring him in. Bring him right up here. That's it. Vint Bonner, am I glad to see you.
Hi there, Doc.
While you're socializing, the patient can bleed to death. The cotton boys? Who else? Come on. Come on. Look out. Take it easy.
How'd it happen, Tom?
My fault. They caught me napping.
This is the 5th this week.
What happened to the town of Harmony? It used to be a real peaceful place.
That was before Gus Cotton moved in.
He's a draw fighter. Used to ride with the Gibbons bunch out of Willow Fork.
What's he doing here?
I don't know. Maybe Tracer Gibbons is spreading out. All I know is he and his brother rode into town a couple of months ago.
Doc, are you for me or against me?
I'm sorry, Tom.
Oh, what's Sheriff Davenport doing about it?
George Davenport was killed last month, Vint.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Who's taking his place?
Well, we haven't got anybody else yet. Oh, give me that probe over there, will you? It's the 3rd one on the right. Now, hold it. That's it, Tom. That's the one. That's the one. Thank you. We're electing the sheriff tomorrow, along with the mayor.
Who's running? For sheriff, that is.
Well, Ernie Schroeder, for one. Now, Tom, lie still if you can. You can yell, but lie still. And Gus's brother, Roy, is the other candidate. And anybody who is man enough to speak up for Ernie Schroeder gets this.
You've had your troubles, all right.
How about giving us a hand with them? I mean, just until the storm blows over, huh?
What?
I had a group of people that are working for Ernie Schroeder. The Citizens Committee to Keep Harmony in Harmony. That's what we call it. How about it, Ben?
Now, Doc, you know I'm not a resident. I can't vote.
Yeah, but you carry an awful lot of influence. I mean, if you were to come to the rally tonight and sit up on the platform next to Ernie Schroeder, you'd sure swing a lot of votes.
It's none of my business, and you know it.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
I mean, I just wouldn't feel right butting in.
Yeah. You staying at the hotel?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to stay around long enough to get a hot bath.
Well, the rally's up at the town hall. It's at 7:30, Ben.
Don't count on it.
Well, you know best.
You going to be all right?
Oh, sure, you'll be all right.
Well, I'll see you before I leave.
Yeah.
Come in. I'm not through yet.
That's all?
Oh, I thought you were the kid come for the tub.
No, I ain't the kid come for the tub. I'm Roy Cotton. You heard of me?
Yeah, your name has been popping up all day. What can I do for you?
Well, I was just wondering if you're going to be around town for the election, Bonnie. You've heard about the election?
Yeah, that I have.
Well, then you must have heard that folks are asking me to run for sheriff. Not that I'm anxious for the job, you understand, but, well, folks kind of figured it was my duty, so, well, I thought I'd oblige them.
Well, look on the bright side of things. Maybe you won't be elected.
No, Bonner. I'm going to be elected.
Well, I can see that a nice, personable fellow like you'd get a lot of votes. Hand me that brush over there, will you?
Yeah, I'll give you the brush.
Obliged.
I'll give you some good advice, too, Bonner. Saddle up right now.
Well, now, Doc mentioned something about a rally he was having tonight. Kind of asked me to come.
Bonner, you know, you go to that rally. You're just asking me and Gus to do something about you.
Maybe I am.
All right. You had your warning.
I'm not leaving town. So if you want to do anything about it, you better do it now.
I don't want to shoot up no hotel room, Bonner.
Room's paid for. In advance.
There's no rush. You just be out of town time sun goes down, Bonner. Oh, and I told Doc the same thing goes for him.
Well, I guess nobody relishes the idea of being told what he can do and what he can't. But mostly I was concerned about Doc Cross.
And so we come to our ticket.
It didn't look like the Citizens Committee to Keep Harmony in Harmony was doing much good.
And we got our candidate for mayor, our own good friend Cecil Potter. Now, you all know Boke Spitzer. He's running for coroner. And now, last but not least, the man who's going to bring law and order back to Harmony, Bernie Schroeder. Well, I guess that's about all, folks. Wait a minute. I think we've got us a visitor.
Yes, sirree. Vint. Vint Bonner. Come on up here, Vint. Vint Bonner. Come on.
Doc, I just want...
You're upset. Come on, Vint. Come on. No, folks, in case you don't know it, this here is Vint Bonner. No, now we got real work to do. Because before polling time, I want every citizen in Harmony to know that Mr. Bonner here is on our side. Yeah.
Doc, if you'll only listen to
Now, we've got to spread the news that any man can vote the way he likes. Now, there's going to be no bribery, no double voting, and no intimidation at the polls. And anybody that tries to make it otherwise will have to answer to the six-shooter. Now look, we gotta organize to spread the word. Now, Amos, you take all the people west of Cedar Street. And, Kinney, you take the section down by the creek. And if they're asleep, wake them up. Now, I'll take the center of town, and all of you, just go on out and give the word. That's right. Go on. Oh, wait a minute. There's just one more thing. You tell everybody that Vint Bonner is going to be at the polls himself tomorrow, just to make real sure that this election is run honest and free. Goodbye.
Doc, you listen to me.
Oh, Vint, were you speaking to me?
You know darn well I was.
Oh, do you want something? Do you want some water, maybe? Huh?
No, I don't want any water.
It's very refreshing.
Doc, I'm not going to have people going around saying I'm interfering with their election, so you just call them back and tell them that before it's too late.
Oh, Ben, it's too late now. And I guess I better be running along, too, because I got a lot of people to talk to.
All right. You go right ahead. But tomorrow morning you're going to look awful foolish because I'm not going to be there.
I always reckoned you a man who set quite a store by his duty.
I do. And I figure my duty right now is to mind my own business.
All right, I give up.
You what?
Well, there's no hard feelings, Vint. Every man's got to do what he feels is right.
Hey, Doc, wait a minute. I think I winged one, Doc. You all right?
Never better. By the way, the polls open at 7 o'clock. Why don't you let your conscience be your guide? Good night, Ben. Good for you, Vin. I knew you'd come down to oversee the voting.
Well, I don't mind telling you I did some tossing and turning about it.
Oh, well, if it's interfering you're worrying about, just forget it. Because the town charter clearly states there should be a nonpartisan at the polls. I read up on it this morning.
Well,
start her off, Doc.
Yeah, all right.
You've been eating these lists.
Come on, man. Here you sit right in this chair.
Looked like there was no way for me to wriggle out of it, so I sat me down and started checking off names. Well, the voting went real smooth that morning. There was just one shooting. That turned out to be a flesh wound. Then about 11 o'clock... Roy Cotton. You'd be Gus.
That's right.
Hey, why don't you boys just vote for Ernie Schroeder and make it unanimous?
No electioneering at the polls, Doc. That goes for you, too.
If he was to get it, no telling how long he'd last.
Gus. Gus, what do you think?
You should have gunned him when you had a chance. Come on.
Where to?
Willow Fork.
Tracer Gibbons? You know anyone better? Come in. Well?
Well, what?
Who won the election?
Oh, that. Well, it's a little hard to say, Vince.
Hard to say.
Well, I mean, we had to have a complete recount. We just couldn't believe our first totals. As a matter of fact...
Look, did Ernie win or didn't he?
No, Vince, he didn't win.
Well, that's too bad.
It could have been worse.
You mean it was a close vote?
Well, I don't think we could call it exactly close. Do you, Tom?
Not exactly.
Well, what are the figures?
Well, in the race for sheriff, that's the one we consider the most important.
Yeah?
Ernie Schroeder only got 7 votes.
7? Is that all?
Yep, that was his total. We made certain.
And Roy Cotton got 33.
Oh, that's too bad, Doc. I'm sorry. I really am. But if the people elected him sheriff, maybe they deserve him.
Yeah. Well, there's no other way to think about it.
Wait a minute. If Ernie got 7 votes and Cotton got 33, that's only 40 votes. There must have been twice that many cast.
101 in all.
Well, that leaves 60 ballots that are not accounted for.
61 to be exact. And that's how many you got.
Huh?
Vint, it gives me great honor to announce you've been elected Sheriff of Harmony by a landslide.
You're joshing, aren't you, Doc? Sure, you're joshing.
No, sir.
Well, but that's impossible. That couldn't happen.
Vint, the people have chosen. Now, Vint, there's a little rust on the points of this badge, but some polishing will take care of that.
Doc, if you had anything to do with this, I swear...
No. It was spontaneous, Vint. Absolutely spontaneous.
Fine. I've got me a spontaneous notion, too.
What's that?
I resign.
Oh, well, now, Vint, that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Because, see, you have to resign to the mayor. And we haven't got a mayor yet. Not until we swear you in.
Oh, that just shows how confused you are, Doc. You said I was elected sheriff, remember?
Seems like folks just got the habit of writing your name in.
You mean they elected me
mayor,
too?
By a 2-to-1 majority, Your Honor.
You didn't do so well for coroner, though. Both Spitzer beat you out by 4 votes.
Oh.
Well, I wouldn't feel too badly about that, Vin, because Boke's a very popular man, you know. And...
Oh, sure. I appreciate the honor. All those people voting for me. I really do.
But I haven't the faintest idea of being sheriff or mayor.
But the people have made their choice.
They got stampeded, and I don't take it as much of a favor from you, Doc.
Oh, now, Vince.
Well, you can just have yourself another election. And you can elect yourself another mayor. And you can take that badge, and you can take it, and you...
Doc, you better come quick.
What's the matter?
It's Ernie Schroeder. They gunned him down in front of the hotel.
Who gunned him?
The Cotton Brothers and Tracer Gibbons. Hurry up, Doc. He's hurt bad. Real bad.
Vince, I'm going to have to leave him in this room for a while.
It's all right, Doc.
Who is it?
It's Vince Bonner. No, take it easy.
Listen, Vince.
What is it?
They're in the saloon. 3 of them.
I never really thought I'd be wearing one of these.
Now, wait a minute, Vin. You were right. It's not your business. It's our problem. We got to solve it ourselves.
Now, look, Doc. Minding your own business is a good thing. But there's such a thing as carrying it too far.
Bent.
Yeah.
Givens is the fastest. Take him first.
I'll remember that.
Wait a minute. I'll go with you.
Don't take this wrongly, but you'd just be more for me to worry about.
So she turned. Mind you, she was all at 200 pounds. Sure.
Come in. Come in. Friend of yours, Gus?
I've seen him before.
Well, step up to the bar. What's your pleasure?
This isn't a pleasure trip, Givens.
Well, just what kind of a trip would you say it was?
Official? It's an official trip. I've come to put you under arrest.
Well, now that's interesting. Just how do you plan to go about it?
Well, it'd make it a lot easier if you just put your hands up and come along with me quietly.
Well, it used to be even a lawman given.
You wouldn't know an even break if you saw one, Givens.
No sporting blood. Well, boys, looks like he's got us cold. Looks like we'll just...
Thanks a lot. I better take this. Hey, Doc, it's all over. Doc, it's all right. Cease Potter had already been installed as mayor, and Ernie Schroeder was mending so fast there wouldn't be any time at all until he was ready to take over the sheriff's job. So the doc was happy. It looked like harmony had really come to Harmony. Anyway, for a little while. I hadn't figured on going through Clay City. I was already a day late to the Jefferson Ranch where I'd signed on for the roundup. But when Scar started favoring his right hind hoof, I didn't have any choice.
when it's safe. Come on, hurry it up. Open her up. Throw it over. Thanks. I'll lock it.
Murdering little scut. Oh.
Howdy, mister.
Howdy.
Gonna be hot in a Dutch oven with the biscuits burning.
Guess you're right.
Boss on a shoe?
I think it's split.
Let's look at him. Easy, boy. Yeah, it's split. I'll fix him up for you. Tonic.
What's wrong with you?
Well, the professor that sold it to me said it was general debility, sort of wasting away. Besides, it tastes good.
What happened to Jonesy, the fellow used to own the shop?
He went on out to Nevada chasing silver.
I see.
My name is Fred Buggleman. What do they call you, mister?
Bonner. Vint Bonner.
Vint Bonner. He was mighty quick getting to Clay City. How'd you hear about it so soon?
Hear about what?
Why, the holdup over at the express office. Ain't that why you're here?
No, I was going around Clay City, and my horse split a shoe. Any idea who did it?
Not a single solitary one, from what I hear.
How's that?
Well, Amos Chavalda, the deputy agent, got shot up pretty bad. He ain't done no talking lately. Then his assistant, Sam DeRemus, he's dead.
I suppose Sheriff Lawson's taking a posse, huh?
Nope. Ain't nobody to go.
Why not?
Well, most of the boys signed up for that Jefferson Roundup. Left town day before yesterday. Your old Jeff's paying pretty good money this year.
Well, Lawson's a good man. He'll do all right.
Guess so. Even though I ain't no admirer of the sheriff's.
How come?
He's a hard man. Hard as nails.
He takes his badge pretty serious.
Yeah. Last week, the Texas cowboy in town got oiled up on that Kill Me Quick whiskey. Bragged he was going to raise hell and put a rock under it.
Sounds about normal.
Pulled a gun on the sheriff, too, and said he was going to blow him higher than a prairie twister. Aimed his gun around at some of the other people. Sure, he was breaking the peace all right. But a man like Lawson could have taken him in without killing him. But he killed him.
I guess he thought he had to.
Yep, like I say, he's a hard man.
I know Lawson. There aren't any gray cats where he's concerned. Man's either on one side of the law or the other.
Nice horse.
My nearest of kin. I'll look around while you're fixing his shoe.
Right.
I'm Mrs. DeRemus, Sam's wife.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
My man was killed in here. He helped around the place, did odd jobs.
I'm sorry to hear about your husband, Miss Doremus.
I know you, Mr. Bonner. My husband pointed you out to me. They've got him over at the undertaker's. Fussing over him more now than when he was alive.
It's too bad. Such hard luck doesn't seem quite fair.
Hard luck always followed Sam. He was one of the meek ones that wasn't ever going to inherit the earth.
Takes all kinds, ma'am.
I want to ask you something. He never bothered anyone. It seems as though someone should pay for his death. That much at least is coming to him.
I'm sure Sheriff Lawson will take care of it.
But he isn't, Mr. Bonner. He isn't doing a thing. But then I suppose Sam wasn't important enough to bother about.
There was some blood on the ground. And then just red mud. And some hoof prints that trailed off. One shoe was different from the other three. A sharp rock must have cut into it sometime or another. Not enough to split it, but just enough so as the print left a jagged line.
Ben, you find something?
Did you notice those hoof prints back there, Sheriff?
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too hard to track.
No, they don't mean anything, Ben.
How come?
Well, trail gives out a mile or so down the creek.
Well, you know how trails are. Sometimes you can pick them up a little ways down.
Look, you asked me a question about these. I answered it. Let's go get some coffee.
Sheriff, is the agent able to talk yet?
I'm afraid not. Doc Evans said he'd let me know first thing he came around. Doc took Amos out to his office the other side of town.
I suppose you were out there last night.
No reason to go.
Don't you think you might, just in case?
I thought it would be a better idea to stick close to town.
Well, it doesn't look like anything else is going to happen in town. I'll get my horse and join you at Doc's.
Then, I can handle this alone.
I sort of promised Mrs. Doremus. That's Sam's wife.
All right, I'll meet you out at Doc's.
Tonic.
Yeah?
Tied him around the side so he'd be in the shade. He's all fixed up.
What's obliged. You're the only blacksmith in these parts, aren't you?
Well, there's one for 40 miles.
You seen a horse that's got a shoe with one jagged edge, left rear leg?
Well, Mr. Bonner, lots of shoes that got jagged edges.
Yeah. Well, I'm not much of an artist, but looks something like this. With two markings right in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Seemed like I did see a shoe like that the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah. I remember. I told him he better get a new one for it. It was Ted, that's who it was, just the other day.
Ted who?
Ted Lawson, the sheriff's boy. You know him, don't you, Mr. Bonner?
Yeah, I know him. I haven't seen him for a few years.
Yeah. Mighty good-looking boy. You wouldn't know him. Seemed like that boy just sort of growed up overnight.
I guess he has.
He's bad, but I guess you can see him.
Let's talk to Amos. Hello, Amos.
He didn't have no reason to shoot a sheriff.
Yeah, Doc told us.
Hit Sam in the belly. Hit me in the chest. It's like he enjoyed shooting us. Enjoyed it.
Take it easy, Amos.
Well, look, maybe he was scared.
He wasn't scared. I didn't have no reason. Thought he killed both of us. And he went down the steps. I got my hand on the shotgun and let him have it.
You hit him?
I don't know. Maybe. He gave a yell and rode off.
What kind of a fellow was he? Young? Old?
I didn't see his face. A young fellow, though, I'd say.
How young?
19, 20, full grown.
Are you sure, Amos?
He acted young, moved young.
Tall? Short?
Medium. About the size your kid weighed. About that size.
You had enough weight?
Yeah, I've had enough. Well, killer. Didn't have no reason to shoot. Glad you're in town, Vent. You'll help Wade get him, huh?
Yeah, I'll help him, Amos.
We're wasting our time, Vent. He's got a day's head start. He'd be 40 miles from here.
Not if he's hit.
But we don't know where to start.
Along the creek is as good a place as any.
But we'll never catch up with him.
Sheriff, suppose we just try. Talked to Fred. I asked him if he knew anyone who had a horse that would leave markings like the ones we're following. He said your boy did. I thought you ought to know.
A lot of shoes leave that same kind of mark.
Amos said it was a young fella.
Well, it wasn't Ted.
Where is he now?
Jefferson Ranch. Left Clay City day before yesterday.
I see.
Look, it couldn't be Ted. There are a lot of half-weaned gun toughs around these parts, but not Ted. Ted's a good boy. It couldn't be him.
You're sure?
I wouldn't cover up for anybody, not even my own boy. You know how I feel about this badge.
Yes, I know.
My old man was a deputy. Worked for $50 a month, with a wife and 2 kids. Never had a saddle in his life that was worth more than $20. But the thieving nothing that gunned him down bragged that he had paid $200 for his saddle. A genuine Paget it was, made in Waco. I was just 16 then, but I've never forgotten it. I guess it's been eating away at me ever since. Dirt. Murdering, thieving, dirt, honing for trouble. They're no good, all of them. They're all the same.
No, they're not all the same. Oh, all the same, maybe in trying to prove something, like throwing a loose rope on a stray steer, or being fast with a .45, or even impressing a girl. But they're not all the same. Even the ones that break the law. Men or boys. That's a good thing to remember. The trail wasn't too hard to follow.
every once in a while we'd see a few drops of blood.
Piece of shirt tail, soaked through with blood. Can't have gone much further. Whose is it?
It used to belong to Walt Davis. Died a couple of years ago. Nobody living there now.
Somebody is there. There's a pony out back. I'll have to go the rest of the way on foot.
Ain't gonna kill him.
I'm not gonna let him kill me. We'll have to get to the back of that cabin.
He may see us.
I'll have to take that chance. Not going to be easy to take him now that he's seen us.
Ben, listen. We've got to take him alive.
It is Ted, isn't it?
I don't know. Not for sure.
But it could be.
It could be, Ted. I had an argument with him a few nights ago. You know how those things are.
Hey, Dad?
What do you want?
Dad. Hey, Dad, look at me.
All right, I'm looking.
I need some money.
Money? What for?
I've been playing poker.
Again?
Look, Dad, I lost heavy. You gotta help me.
Help you? You lost your shirt gambling, and you expect me to help you?
Yes. I don't have anywhere else to go.
Well, don't come to me. I wouldn't give you a dime. Not if you got down on your knees and begged for it.
I shouldn't have expected any understanding from a man like you. A man with a blind spot, hurting to be judge and jury to anybody who ever made a mistake.
The only mistake I ever made was letting you run wild. Gambling.
All right. I'm sorry I asked you. I'll get the money myself, any way I have to.
You do anything wrong, and that's just a sample of what's going to happen to you.
All right, Dad. All right. But I'll get it.
And that's the last I've seen of him. I wish he had hit me back.
Wouldn't have made any difference.
It's not all his fault, Ben. It's just as much mine.
You didn't raise him to be a killer.
Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't give him any choice.
I'll rush him alone.
Stay there.
He's killed one man, maybe two by now.
Killing Ted won't bring him back.
He had no reason to shoot those men. He'll kill again.
He's my son, Ben.
That doesn't really change things, does it?
Look, we're going back to town.
Not without him, we're not.
Look, you're faster than me, Ben. I'll still have time to get a shot off.
Ted's gonna have a chance to get away, and then I'm gonna turn in my badge.
I'll try and take him alive.
Don't turn your back on me! Don't be a fool! Vince, don't make me do it!
Wait!
Come on out, Ted.
Wade. I had to do it. He would have killed you.
Wade, listen to me.
No, go away. It's too late. He was my boy. I'll bury him alone.
Come with me.
That's not my boy. That's not him. That's somebody else. That's not my boy at all.
Of course not. Man doesn't change overnight. Neither does a boy. Come on, let's see a doctor. Get that arm fixed up.
It's funny, Vin. Doesn't hurt anymore.
It's surprising how little people really know about one another. Even those who are bound by the closest of bonds. Brothers, a husband and wife, or a father and son like Wade and Ted. It takes a little more effort to see the good in people than it does the bad, but it's worth it.